My name is Sean, and I've been a photojournalist for more than 25 years, and I can't think of a better way to experience the world. In this video, I'll tell you how to break into a dying industry that barely pays, and why you might be interested in this. Here are 11 things that I would do if I was starting over. Don't skip any, but number 11 is the most important. If you're in school, join the school newspaper, literary magazine, and yearbook staff. If you're out of school, embrace self-publishing and find some form of professional education in journalism besides just winging it in the field. This could be a combination of community college courses, lectures, mentors, and more. The traditional path in photojournalism typically goes through universities that specialize in visual communications. Leading programs include Missouri, Syracuse, Ohio University, and Western Kentucky. This video is not about that route, but it might supplement it. If I was trying to break into photojournalism today, I'd tell camera gear to fuck off. Instead, I'd learn to use the camera that I own inside and out. Why should I care about cameras that I'll never own or use? The only time we should be looking at camera gear is when we're in the market for something specific. If you're always in the market for something specific, slow down, you might have a problem. For those needing to build a kit from scratch, or looking for general pointers about camera gear from the perspective of a photojournalist, I've linked a video for you in the description. If you're trying to break into photojournalism, build skill sets with portraiture and sports photography as your building blocks. Portraiture teaches us about light, and sports about action, being at the right place at the right time, and about healthy competition. Study and practice street photography. Photograph public events like festivals and parades. Early in my career, I underestimated the value of light and portraiture in photojournalism. Don't be like me. When you're just starting out, don't be afraid to identify as a student journalist. This is actually a superpower. People are willing to give you more grace and more access. Photojournalism is a lot about consistent performance, and while modern technology solves a lot of pain points, it's still limited. It's okay to make mistakes and fail, and this is one of the best ways that we can learn. Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino taught me about golf. About 25 years ago, I photographed a Monday after the Masters tournament with Hootie and the Blowfish. At the time, I was in college, and one of my teachers was the band's manager. I'd never photographed golf before, and the first hole, Dan Marino was up on the tee box. As he swung, my Nikon F100 was not quiet as it clanked along at 4.5 frames a second. The former Dolphins quarterback was pretty pissed and gave me a little talking to, but looking back, he was pretty gracious. If you're serious about breaking into photojournalism, read the Associated Press Guide to Photojournalism and put it in your camera bag. Instead of doom scrolling, reread it and write notes in the margins. Study business and art and read a lot. Read a lot because that teaches you how to write. And if you can't communicate about your photography, you can't get any work or access to subjects. Most staff photojournalist positions were cut in the last couple decades, and I don't know of any freelance photojournalists that are surviving solely on photojournalism. This means you're probably going to be running a small business. For example, one of my clients outside of photojournalism is a used aircraft broker, and I have to negotiate terms and conditions. For the last decade, I've been a full-time photographer, largely working in photojournalism, but it's also been a mix of commercial and other types of work. And before going into photography full-time, I bartended for over a decade because it gave me some consistent pay and freed up my days. I currently freelance with Getty Images, the New York Times, the Associated Press, and many others. I did my time with small local newspapers, and many times I still wish I was working with them. The route I took with these local newspapers to become the photojournalist I am today is mostly gone, so I can't suggest anyone follow directly in my footsteps. The photo department at the newspaper where I interned 20 years ago has been decimated, dropping from 13 full-time staffers to 2. All photo editor and photo desk positions have been eliminated, and the photo internship program is long gone. We're halfway through this video, and if you're still with me, you're showing some of the commitment needed to break into photojournalism. Number 11 will show you how to tie all these things together. If you're trying to break into photojournalism, don't expect to make much money. Expect to eat lots of ramen, peanut butter and jelly, and grilled cheese sandwiches. Despite the future of photojournalism being uncertain, those who have studied and practiced it see its value beyond a bank account. We understand human experience and community service. The good news, despite all this uncertainty, I attribute a lot of my success in photojournalism to personal projects, where I didn't have to rely on gatekeepers, markets, or institutions. Offer to assist a local working photojournalist. Photojournalists these days have a lot more responsibilities and are more likely to need a helping hand. Do this more than once and with multiple photographers. Observe how they work, take notes, and ask questions later. Lots of newspapers these days rely heavily on reporters with smartphones and citizens to contribute to their photography needs. As a result, it may be difficult to find a working photojournalist to shadow. But this very process of finding a working photojournalist will develop your skills as a journalist. If I was trying to break into photojournalism today, I'd tell social media to fuck off. Instead of scrolling toxic feeds, I'd check out best of collections from the Associated Press, Getty Images, other wire services, and news media collections. I'd use social media strategically, considerate of its parasitic trappings. I'd put time limits on my usage and focus mostly on publishing and not consuming. If you're trying to break into photojournalism, attend a professional conference like the one put on by the National Press Photographers Association and look for portfolio reviews. I went to the Northern Short course, and that weekend event was more valuable than any university class I took in all 4 years at college. And the most important thing, if you're trying to break into photojournalism today, is to take on self-assigned projects to build a strong portfolio. Curiosity and proactivity are two of the most important traits a photojournalist can possess. Explore these traits and build skills around them. Build a website, update your portfolio, and publish your personal projects. Share these things with editors and the communities you cover. This provides a cyclical structure to build skills, connect with clients, and tell stories about the community. 20 years ago, they said photojournalism was a dead end, and most of my colleagues have taken the off-ramp. If you're finding photojournalism to be a tough slog, consider documentary photography as a parallel alternative path. Documentary photographers get to work slower, go deeper, and the work often leads back to photojournalism. I've linked a video in the description about the differences. In the meantime, I present a looming challenge, because the hard part isn't breaking into photojournalism, it's maintaining a life as a photojournalist. Because at the moment, there just aren't enough investors in photojournalism. But if you're still with me at this point in the video, maybe you're stubborn enough to take on this challenge. If you check out my free online photojournalism course on my sodacitizen.com website, you'll have more information than I did when I started out.